Hi guys, I'm back again. So this video is the continue of my discussion about probability sampling. So we just have two left, the systematic sampling and stratified random sampling. So I just go with the third type of probability sampling, which is systematic sampling. Okay, a systematic sampling, it is used to choose a sample member of a population at regular intervals. It requires the selection of starting point for the sample and sample size that can be repeated at regular intervals. It is selected according to random starting point but with a fixed periodic intervals. Before we proceed to the example, let's take a look at the formula of systematic sampling. It is started with small I is equals to big N divided by small n, where the small I stands for sampling interval, the big N is the population size, and the small n is the sample size. So it meaning to say sampling intervals is equals to population size divided by sample size. Okay, for example, you have a 30 population and 5 sample size. Then you will going to do is divide the 30 and 5 is equals to 6. So 6 is your sampling intervals. Okay, next step, you choose a random starting point between in your population. Okay, example of this, your population is numbering with 30 like I said earlier, and we randomly pick our starting point, let me say number 3. Then we repeat the sampling intervals to choose our sequence elements that we will going to be our respondents. To obtain the final sample size in the population, you will going to add the sampling intervals in the random starting point. So we start with number 3 plus 6 is equals to 9. So we're still continuing that process until we reach our main target sample size, that is 5.
Teacher, can I ask you a question? What if one of the respondents cannot be interviewed or represent because of the personal problem, example, sick or injured?
Okay, nice question, Waning. Okay, for example, our number 9 person, we choose the number that near at them, which is the number 8 and the 10. Okay?
Nasa tabi mo na nga. Lalayo ka pa.
And now let's move on to the last type of probability sampling, the stratified random sampling. A stratified random sampling, it is a method in which the researcher divides the population into smaller groups that do not overlap but represent the entire population. It is a method of sampling that involves the division of population into the smaller subgroup, that also known as strata. Did you know that in stratified random sampling, we have something called strata and stratum? Strata is our population and stratum is the sample size. Okay, let's proceed to the example. We have 4 strands here, the gas, fumes, ABM, and ICT. In gas, there have 307 students. In fumes, there have 320 students. In ABM, there have 225 students. And ICT does have 150 students. To know the population or our strata, we have to add the students for each strand. We have 1002. So to know the sample size, we use Sloven's formula. That is equals to 385. That is our stratum or sample size. And now we will divide the strata to the number of students in each strand and then multiply the stratum. For example, in gas, 307 divided by 1002 multiplied by 385. is equals to 117.95. And in same procedure in UMS, ABM, and ICT. And now, to know our stratum is correct, we will add all the sample that we get in the strands. But when you solve it is not exact, it allow you to add it. For example, in my case, I add 3 to make it exact. For example, on 117.95, I translate it in whole number in 118. And that's all in this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.